Hello. Each modern nation lost to an organized crime method. I'm not loading up, please, for not that keeps the majority of opinion natures of the states and areas of and as each modern nation, as it rolls with a space identity of relationship to its own greater identity, organized crime, exploitation, organized crime method that everyone missed. This held and holds originally and still each branch of government in collusion with with and as what is formally in private, and all that juxtaposed with that, maintain criminally foreign influence, criminal insidious natures, valuable fact treatment nature. So the majority opinions are keeping the minority criminally foreign influence too. Their roles with it. But what's keeping this is also keeping it through a base only let realized, known, entertained roles propagated as this. Unrealizing, unfathoming the means to exploit this. Where and how we have the quality of our fact treatment nature maintained. To maintain and manifest value nature relationship to the value of the campus Marsyas or of any value that causes positive or negative value nature discernment, three ways at once, as a simultaneous nature and demonstration to itself, as the identity that makes inventions not only work or not only health or not, but further positive and negative onto the sequence nature it is, while being all of our value, complete nature relationship to itself, while being the phenomenon of semi-nature, which there's no such thing of as inside and where and how a complete identity of value progression is inseparable from each complete identity of value. Overall, body of value discernment, clear but discernible, and active, physical even, sexes, ages, and finite, individual. You see, real science reveals that when we value this simultaneously, it is in that sequence. But this took everyone to fact treatment nature, quality, as criminal insidiousness nature, where it rolls, justifying convictions, opinion natures, as victim predators, as criminal insidiousness natures maintained. Criminally foreign influence with treatments of, women's rights, even men's rights. We have women are more. It says in the Old Testament, women are more subtle than any other creature on earth, and that's true. Because what they call it's not because either power and might are both only negative value nature, because even together, their shared identity is only a semi-nature relationship to the identity that makes that is perfect value progression that shows positive, what's going to work positive or not, and then further positive or negative, because it's showing us the simultaneously increasing simultaneous nature of identity of relationship to itself. So not only is there an identity of value that most scientifically discernibly, generates everything consciously. Constantly. As a forever nature generating more of itself. There is one self-generating identity of value, which is perfect value progression. And it's an identity of value. And this is where And so it's an identity of value that is all things at once. So it is a nature. And nature was conceived as a word to describe the range in the identity. Each identity of value is an identity of value. So we have each of the sciences obfuscated, however, to be maintained as identity of fact, treatment, nature, value, nature, relationship, value, nature, to the extent we have control of it, inside values, nature. That is caused to negative value, nature progressions, acts, and natures that were designed to be maintained, needed countered, designed to be as an organized crime method to maintain each of the branches in collusion, and so hiding that, motivated to reach to conventions and standards in natures left criminally foreign influence overtly, originally and still. There are proofs that there was, it was as a victim predator, but as a predator. Originally and still, treatments of, I didn't even read about it yet. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. All this is to obfuscate the identity that is greater than any body value we could discern. That's why space's identity is a semi-nature. It's everything is constantly in demonstration of an identity of value/values nature's perfect progression, and its identity of relationship to itself as the value of our volume, our nature of volume as identity. This requires a quality of fact treatment nature. For example, that in demonstration how the sciences share an identity simultaneously. And that was and is recorded, space maintained criminally foreign influence, intersciences, and how, off the records. Because this is non-distinctly maintaining the only realized sophistication of and as each modern nation criminally foreign influence, victim predators, and justifications of that. Needs to hide life progressions in relationship to that, enforced by nature. But, again, the nature of identity. Now, this is identity hierarchy, because this is the identity. We don't have to agree on the name of the identity of all things at once. The constitutional right to talk about this is prevented offensively by physical delusions wrought in juxtaposed criminally foreign influence sciences, in theater positive interbranch, and justifications of that, as victim predators are. So when they come to the treatments of Native American rights, a value that doesn't go away even if there weren't any left. They made identities of value to be self-defended, consciously cultivated, invested to fact-treated nature, as fact-treated nature valued. There's a negative value nature relationship to the identity of sciences together that uses how its perfect value progression simultaneously, inherently, actively, and progressively is bonded onto and as the order of and as the physical value of and beyond that of each finite, smallest value. Active body of value discernment. All natures of it as a quality of diffusion. No. In relationship to the identity that it is, again, not only which causes things to be healthy and thrive or not, but also further positive or negative value nature relationship to the quality of Campus Martius, of sciences, of a fact treatment nature quality only capable of being used by the engineering of existence / space itself. Every body of value we could discern is in demonstration of this. So the ancients revealed that we are two natures of value G, which is value God, which is knowing the extent that we do and don't know what is true always without exploiting any exceptions. And when we're looking to do that, we're a quality of fact achieving nature that causes, true always, not exploiting exceptions. That means individual, finite. So we have tons of finite originally and still forsaken. We have the human nature that is where everyone's good is engineered to and as identities of fact achieving nature, convictions, and opinion natures invested as victim predators maintain pseudo cared for, tactically hurt through others only realized natures of industry roles, of jobs value nature system justifications, convictions. That needs to hide lies and delusions about what really causes negative value nature progression. What really causes everybody good to be evil and pretending other at once. And this is per the organized crime method that came before modern nations, that had already criminally re-engineered and was in the process of criminally re-engineering the value of internation sciences tactically, because they knew that would tactically devalue the sophistication and the trust and the nature of areas and state sciences. And they knew that they could get them to self-defend that. And they knew that will cause negative value nature progressions that then would be harder and harder for everyone to counter, because it's a fact cheaping nature illness. And not one opinion nature is letting someone use honesty that is not exploiting exception nature. And the motivating nor demonstrated the motivations for each person line, each branch of government especially, in regards to witch trials, in regards to recorded criminal uses of the FBI, leveraged against each party and against each president, past and present, and how. So not only they can't admit it, they're already invested sabotaging the perfect world as means, in other words, needed fact cheaping nature reactions, justifications of that were maintained as ours, each age of fact cheaping nature, lied to by pseudo positive, that is simultaneously pretending to be reality, and by talking about other overt criminal enterprises, which were tactically juxtaposed because they knew this is maintaining us a complete nature of relationship, each modern nation, each area and state, as an identity. See, identity has a relationship to the identity of all things. The value of a sentence has not only identity, has an identity of a relationship to itself, that each identity of value shares, even the complete language. So each letter of the English language has one identity. From before value A, while being value A, value. From as value Z, and from beyond value Z, while being its value. In other words, so what is overall is still negative value nature. And that's being maintained up from areas and states. And that's forcing a nature of pseudo-positive entertained that's in collusion not only with recorded criminally foreign influence precedents and systemic original and progressed already invested exploitations of that. Each identity of the law, criminally foreign influence, victim predator though too. No one, so already having had nature maintain negative value nature progressions, lies, needs to hide that, needs to hide finite, group lies, misprision, natures of identities in relationship to themselves. As fact-cheating nature racket rolls. Where that racket was missed even by kings. This built the identity of our species only capable of relying on experts. And that is only capable of theater positive as states and as areas from off campuses. And that is only capable of defending itself by staying collusion with value nature systems and identities of jobs and intersciences recorded methodically, effectively maintained as victim predators intersciences. So we have criminal insidious nature to know. That's the difference. And we have the method that keep everyone a criminal insidious nature roll fake sides. That's the method that's keeping overtly sick, never freed human standards and science is motivated to collusion. And how? They actually need to steal our identities with actual identity theft methods manifest because of natures of jobs in collusion with interbranch justifications. Our agencies recorded criminally foreign influence there and here simultaneously. They've been hiding it by treatments of sanctions, insulated, isolated, exploiting, already having exploited as was for other reasons, and exploiting all that too, areas and states of as each nation in collusion, criminal collusion, for criminal foreign influence, tactically denature relationship to nature, means to infrastructure, means to agreements, maintain nature of relationships, just self-justified as ours. Because now then when you need to demonstrate how there is no real quality fact-cheating nature science, before you can get to that, you have opinion natures that are offensively dishonest. And that's why, in how they were in the background, what everyone missed, database illusion stacking. Everyone missed it because this was maintaining interbranch juxtaposed with overt criminal enterprises and with unrealized ones. Private, especially the interbranch things private, like psychology. Doctors, foreign and domestic, with badges also, interbranch, there and here, criminally foreign influenced. Delusions raw. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I don't have to read it. This is used to obfuscate the identity, the part in the Genesis, I believe it's in, part in the Old Testament, where in English, no, there's part two, this is when it talks about one time, now the earth was with one language. This is also with cipher and with overt. Decipher overt, but it's not being demonstrated. And with the Quran. Because this is a crime method that is maintaining states and areas, opinion nature, fact-cheating nature quality, justifications of the conviction natures with the sciences of United States and areas, even though they appear different, they're sickly, distinctly victim predators, just to hide how non-distinctly of and as the value of each state and area of and as each modern nation, only letting that further. Only letting opinion natures that are blaming others and other things and selves for the real causes. And this is even recorded in our face. They have the opinion natures of Americans criminally foreign influenced because they didn't tell our American history right. And they have each of the sciences and so on. This is simultaneous nature as a sequence nature. And that's three ways at once. It's the nature of volume, the identity of volume, the identity of value progression that was before matter was bonded. That's why part of the Old Testament says we're supposed to come back and write this. This is also because this is about how the sciences share an identity. And this is also how that identity needs to be explained, where and how this is an organized crime. Counter needs that no one was capable of having. Because that sophistication is already self-defended, worse than entertained, criminally foreign influence, and delusions raw. Scientific treatments of areas, fact-treatment nature, and of the campuses, intersciences, everyone, from off campuses, and then maintain intersciences jobs, identities of value positions now only capable of discerning what is practical dishonestly and sick, because no one ever heard law's nature speak, and other was pretended. They pretended, they used interscience worse than criminal incompetence with relationship to our obligations to free speech, to a quality that is capable of countering the nature of criminal insidiousness, and that is exploiting what engineered and is recorded capable of maintaining engineered, all blaming other and others and selves for the real causes of negative value nature progressions, acts, and natures, with lies and delusions, and with crime rolls preventing that from being demonstrated. So, correlation simultaneously inherent, active, and progressive means. These are simultaneously earths, simultaneously inherent, active, and progressive means, which is forced to be realized or to be taken away. Know how the rest of Earth has no criminal foreign influences. Too long this little species has been the value of force-based nature transfer, negative value nature volume, in relationship to what? Again, the identity of value progression that makes things work or not, and also overall, to be positive or negative. So no, we're not finite, active, and progressive at the same time. This identity is before, while being that, and beyond that. So it causes negative value nature progressions and demonstration of it, because it's a perfect value progression as values nature. And that is the extent that we have control over positive and negative. It's nature. No matter what we want, no matter who we are, what we want, the engineering of positive is one identity of relationship to and as the value of all things here. Vaccines, prepare. Si campus stole. Campus need. Marcius needs the name. Behold. All the answers we need. See, admitting this quality of fact treatment nature, this nature of relationship to itself. Identity is nature. And each complete nature is a semi-nature relationship to what keeps everything only forever nature, complete nature. Positive or negative though. Because a little bit more of its complete nature is coming in to temporary / lasting space nature as value, as its identity of value, progression perfect. And so that one semi-nature is the only semi-nature that keeps all other semi-natures positive, even complete natures, by being a semi-nature relationship to this. So this causes criminal insidiousness nature. This is a crime method that propagated to means like grew from mass, grew to keep growing, to be self-cultivated. Cultivated means care for it, make it thrive. What was as a base, a trap, a modern nation self-entertained, methodically, victim-predator Oz trap. To just admit is awesome. There's no such thing as semi-nature. We add this the Oz, good and bad, that are preventing the good that is also good always. That's a nature of relationship to the rest of nature, to its identity of relationship to itself. That once we connect with that, it forces positive value nature progressions. Evolution, positive environmental change. They entertain people to the defense of convictions and physical delusions and influences juxtaposed with treatments, criminal foreign influences, juxtaposed with and as treatments of, I forgot what I was going to say. Not literally, not peaceful, not criminal. The religions are about this, not letting them discern. This is recorded, the sciences of areas and states, each modern nation, they're in collusion, influencing the reception of the religions to worse than obfuscate this about our nature's nature of relationship to itself. Identity's hierarchy, which is how and why, for example, this is how it can be seen, invisible but discernible. Not just because this is what causes evolution. In other words, and what denies this, that's another nature of evidence reception that people have been calling things like racism and that's where we have black and white, that reactions to that pseudoscience overtly fake, positive. That's reliant upon wars and identities of sacrifice of positive that are semi-nature. In other words, where and how that identity was never really liberated in the first place. And the reason it was not liberated is because we have organized crime treatment natures that are incapable of countering wars because they're criminally foreign influence, the criminal insidiousness natures, as victim predators, but as victims, but as victim predators, overt predators, only let realized, raised through a base propagated for this to stay, screen to and as pseudo-patriotism natures. So, we have tied to every issue in the news an organized crime method and organized crime acts that they won't let report. And they're doing this through what is exploiting how we have shared identities of nations here and there, policing identities of jobs positions, space nature positions, on-off job sites, on-off database relationships, on-off campuses, with and as identities of titles, as identities of law that are criminal insidiousness nature. Yeah. Of course, all to just admit, see species coats, lets means appear. Please read the Santa Claus. It's clear right here. Yeah.